Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Backers live stream for the Lazer Team Indiegogo campaign. I have with me Matt and Barbara. This is Matt. Matt is going to be talking about production. Barbara is going to be taking some of your questions towards the end of the live stream. We expect this to last about 15 or 20 minutes, but it's pretty flexible, so just stick with us. I want to talk a little bit up top about some of the philosophy of what we're going to be doing today. We are going to be talking about plot. We are going to be showing some concept art. We are going to limit it, of course, because we want you guys to enjoy the movie, but we want to tell you as much about it as we can without doing some major spoilers. But before we get to that part of the presentation, we will definitely let you know before we actually start telling you or showing you anything from the movie in pre-production. Also, this is available to everyone who's backed the campaign so far at the digital or behind-the-scenes level or higher. It's also been made available, the live stream, to the sponsors of roosterteeth.com. Even if they're not a backer, hopefully they'll become a backer after this. So this is obviously something that can be screenshotted. It's something that can be recorded from your home computers. We encourage you to share your impressions of what you saw here today. But if you could hold off on putting out any screenshots to social media or anything like that, that'd be great. If you want to describe what you saw and say what you thought about it, we'd love to hear about that. But if you could just hold off, we're actually going to make some of these elements public in a couple of weeks. So if you could protect this privilege that you have, that would be awesome.
Good.
Okay, well, first of all, did you hear the big goal for today, Matt? You've been really busy.
I've been running around, but my understanding is we have doubled.
Yes.
We doubled our original goal, which is unbelievable. Thank you so much. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And how many days are we in now?
So we have 20 days left in the campaign, and we're
Wow.
at double the amount that we had initially projected for our goal
Wow.
on Indiegogo. And maybe we should talk about that first. So when we set the goals for Indiegogo, we were actually already planning to contribute as a company, Rooster Teeth, to this
Right.
budget as well. And we approached this as, we're going to be making this movie. We need your help to make it better. And you guys answered
You came up,
in
stepped
waves
up really quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we always like to try to include in the community in anything we do. And we thought this would be a great way to do that. You know, it'd be fun for you guys to be able to participate in a bigger way. And then also gave us the opportunity to kind of share more steps in the process with you. So that was kind of the genesis behind it. But we had no idea that it was just going to go gangbusters right off the bat. So thank you very much, everybody.
So this is probably a good opportunity to talk a little bit about how the funds are going to be used. And how the funds are going to be used is actually a moving target, because the campaign continues to have incredible momentum. I mean, we've broken through the record for the most amount of money raised in 24 hours on a film. We just crossed over doubling our own goal. We crossed $1 million of funds raised in 50 hours. We're now looking at like getting into the top 5 films ever crowdfunded ever across any platform. We're about to pass like projects by Spike Lee. So when we plan how we're going to use the money, that is, like I said, a moving target. When we initially started the campaign, we had our pie chart with our budget. That pretty much started to shift in the first 2 hours of how that money was going to be used.
Yeah.
And I think one of the big questions they had was talent. We're going to get to that a little bit later. The plan for the show is to go over, basically an introduction. Then we're going to talk about the movie. Then we're going to go into questions and answers after that. And we're going to show you some new stuff that we're going to be adding to the campaign at the end of this live stream. But basically, I wanted to say that on a high level, the way that the funds are going to be used is that every dollar that goes into the campaign at this point just makes this movie better. And not in a production standpoint, not in it looks awesome on the screen way, because it definitely does, but there's also an unquantifiable aspect to the territory that we're in now, which is every time we go to the next level, we generate more interest, not from an audience perspective, but also from an industry perspective, where we've been approached by talented people on the acting side, music, production, other investments as well, people who are becoming aware of the project because of the amount of press it's getting. So every dollar that comes into the campaign makes it better, and now we're in a multiplier status where we could be going higher and higher with this, and it's all because of your support. We can't thank you guys enough for that.
Yep.
And Matt, why don't you talk a little bit about you were not in the $1 million goal video because you were actually on the set of one of our other productions, which is in a way a preparation for Lazer Team.
A lot of you are aware of a project that we started at RTX quite a while ago called Day 5. And that is a little bit longer form piece. It's probably going to be about 35 to 40 minutes. And that's been something that we've been wanting to do for a long time. And we thought, why don't we go ahead and get production geared up for that now? Because we want to test out a lot of our production workflow that we're going to use for Lazer Team with that project. And, in doing a project as big as Lazer Team, we're going to have, of course, all the usual Rooster Teeth staff working on it, but we're going to need a lot of new people that we've never worked with before. And we wanted to make sure that we could work efficiently with those new people and kind of like, get some camaraderie with, new people that we need to bring in for art direction or for cinematography or all those kind of bigger roles that, in prior productions we haven't had to fill. So this gives us kind of an opportunity to go through, a week-long boot camp with all of our new talent and our new crew, get really familiar with them, get really comfortable all the way around. And that's just going to bring benefits to the production process for Lazer Team that everybody, I think, will really see and feel.
It's almost like an extended job interview, which ends in a piece of really cool content because we're going to have day 5. And there's another project that's in the pipeline between now and the start of production of Lazer Team, which is a medieval piece.
Yeah, we're doing it's crazy. We're doing over an hour of really, big production value stuff between now and when we start production on Lazer Team. And we're testing out everything we possibly can from, new ways of doing visual effects and art direction, working with a couple of really awesome cinematographers that we hadn't had a chance to work with before, new sound stuff. And we want to make sure that, we're flexible in the way that we do production. Because when you've watched, live action Rooster Teeth stuff before and even, the animation stuff, that a lot of people doing the voices who are acting on screen are also running the camera and doing everything else. And we've talked a lot about when we shot some of the early shorts like Catch, there's, 4 people on screen and there's literally no one else there. So if somebody wasn't on screen, they are running the camera and the sound at the same time. We're not going to do stuff like that on Lazer Team.
You won't see Gavin end a shot and then run to the button.
Right? We got to have a few more people to make it a big, high-quality production, the production that everybody wants it to be. But we do want to be flexible. We do want to maintain our independent roots and just our methods of doing things efficiently because we think that'll add to the overall production and maximize every single dollar. So we're trying to be really strategic, trying to work with great people, and trying to make sure that the new people that we bring in integrate into the kind of the Rooster Teeth aesthetic and culture that we all know and love and want to make, shine through in the production of Lazer Team.
All right, we're getting tons of questions on Twitter. We will get to those in a moment. Barb, how can people reach us if they want to reach us? Why don't you leave the mic here?
I have a mic.
Oh, I didn't know you had a mic. I apologize.
If you want to ask a question during the stream, I'm looking at Twitter right now. You could tweet us using the hashtag LazerTeam. That's LAZERTEAM.
Okay, and so everything that we've said so far about, and that's actually, people have asked, why is it spelled that way? It's actually important to the plot of the movie.
I have trouble saying Z instead of Z.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, I have to consciously make an effort to say Z.
Well, we appreciate you dumbing down your language for us. We certainly appreciate that. Now, at this point, we would like to talk a little bit more about the plot. We're going to be showing some concept art from the production as well. I do want to point out, though, that everything that we're about to show is a work in progress, including the logo that you're seeing right down there. Yeah. So the only guarantees that we can make about the material we're about to show you and tell you about is that something in it is going to change, and probably multiple things are going to change as we move forward in the production. Okay, so you might be wondering, what is the story of Lazer Team? This is a story that Matt and I and people at Rooster Teeth have been working on for a number of years. We love sci-fi comedy at Rooster Teeth. Our roots are with Red vs. Blue. Our roots are in comedy. And so as we made our first foray into feature filmmaking, we definitely want to do something comedic, and just sci-fi's in our blood. So that made sense. Our story of Lazer Team actually starts in a real-life event that took place in 1977 when the SETI program, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence Project, they got a one-time signal from outer space. This really happened, and it was a signal that looked exactly like they expected a signal from an alien civilization would look like. The problem is, they never decoded it. This is where our story starts. Essentially, we say, yes, this message was decoded. It was a 2-part message that said, "You are not alone, and conflict is coming." Luckily for us, this warning about the galaxy being a dangerous place came from a very technologically advanced, benevolent race. And they liked human beings, and they took us under their wing, and they said, you are a young species, you're a rough and tumble species, we are not. So what they agreed to do for us was to design a suit of unimaginable power for one person to wear, and that would be the champion of Earth as we made our debut out into the galaxy. And as you can imagine, this suit took a number of years to manufacture and to fabricate, and then because their alien civilization is so far away, to transport it to Earth took a number of decades. So while all this was going on, human beings, the US military in particular, identified a genetically superior human and has been training that person since birth to take delivery of this suit and then wear it as the champion of Earth. Unfortunately, and you can see where this would become a Rooster Teeth story, the small town outside the Air Force base where this alien ship is going to deliver the suit are 4 idiots, and they accidentally shoot down the courier ship. And before the U.S. military can get to the crash site, these 4 idiots get on the ship. They each put on a different piece of the power suit, and as an advanced security mechanism, whoever puts on the suit, it locks to them genetically. So now these 4 idiots all have a different piece of the suit, and instead of Earth having one single champion, we have 4 idiots known as Lazer Team. And the U.S. military has to work with them and to figure out how, instead of working with one champion, they're going to have these 4 idiots be the champion of Earth. So we're very excited about it. Hopefully, knowing a little bit more about the plot and seeing some of the concept art for Lazer Team, you can see why this would be very much in the vein of everything else that we've produced at Lazer Team. Or excuse me, at Rooster Teeth. Somebody's asking if we can submit concept art to the internet. No. We ask that you please, if you want to, give your impressions. We'll be putting some of this concept art later, make it more publicly available as the campaign kind of wraps up to draw some interest back into the campaign in some of the later weeks. Okay. So now that we're done with the plot description, I wanted to also cover just some logistics of the campaign. I wanted to talk to you all about some of the more frequently asked questions we've had over the course of the campaign. Matt, one of the big questions is, how are we going to cast this thing? Are we going to have X person from this show or Y person from that show, from Rooster Teeth in the movie? How is that going to work?
Well, we don't want to give away too much on that score. I mean, we're in the process of doing that right now, but I will say we're taking a similar approach to the way we're looking at crew, where obviously we have to have Rooster Teeth talent involved in a very big way. And I think Bernie's talked previously in some of your posts about the College Humor movie, and it was weird that the College Humor movie didn't have anybody from College Humor in it.
Yeah, it had nobody from the Hardly Working series, which as a College Humor fan, I was surprised to see.
I think if we made a Rooster Teeth movie and then there were no Rooster Teeth people in it, that'd be kind of weird. So it's going to have some Rooster Teeth people in it, to be sure. I can't say that every single role is going to be a Rooster Teeth person, or even that the biggest roles are going to be Rooster Teeth people. We don't know yet, but we're working through that at the moment. But expect to see people that you know and love, and some fresh faces as well.
Yeah, and one thing about this, in the spirit of making a feature film, is whenever we do a stretch and we do new material as a company, we always make sure that it's something that makes sense with what we've done previously, but we're always trying to expand and trying to find a bigger audience than what we have. Otherwise, we'd still be making, RVB videos for 3,000 people and we'd be working out of a bedroom. So we want it to be a bigger audience. And we do recognize that, while you guys know and love a lot of people at Rooster Teeth, we're not exactly household names, to every household, not to every household. And so we're gonna make casting decisions that make the most sense based on where we are in the production.
The best movie possible.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have even said, hey, why don't you put as a stretch goal, if we make X amount of dollars, we'll hire this actor to put them in the movie, because no one would ever agree to let us do that. They wouldn't say Brad Pitt said if we raise $5 million to be in the movie and you can publish that on a website. That's just not the way those things work, unfortunately.
His agent might have something to say about that. I'm not sure.
Possibly so.
Yeah.
But it does go back to that thing I was saying earlier about those unquantifiable benefits of the records being shattered on Indiegogo, and as we raise more money, is that suddenly people become more aware of this and they want to get involved with it. And we've already seen that take place. I wish I could tell you about some of it, but it's been a very exciting week and a half.
It has been.
Yeah.
Inbox overflowing. Thanks to you guys.
And so one of the other questions, if you have any logistics questions, because that seems to be the primary thing that people keep asking, like, when will this perk be delivered?
Yeah.
How will I get my sponsorship? If you have any questions about that, you can send it to Indiegogo@roosterteeth.com. Just Indiegogo, like the site where we're doing the campaign, at roosterteeth.com. We'll answer all your questions through there. But essentially, if you look at every single perk, it does tell you when you can estimate delivery. We're making a movie here.
Yeah.
And so as we're making a movie, that's going to take a number of a number of months to create. And so we can't deliver DVDs until that's done.
Right.
And then shirts along with it as well. So all the physical goods will be done as the movie is completed. Some of the digital goods we'll put out as we can. Obviously, digital movie we can't put out till it's done. But sponsorships in particular, we're going to deliver those in the fourth quarter of this year. So basically for the holiday season. That's our goal. That's our goal to do that.
Yeah.
And we're looking at a way to do sponsorships for people who have existing sponsorships, maybe some alternative that you can apply so you can get that benefit as well.
Right. And we're using all of, kind of the logistics, the mechanics we have in place now for our store and just kind of on the back end, because we realize going into this that, fulfilling all this stuff is a big deal, and we want to take it very seriously, make sure everybody gets what they expect to get, and gets good products. And we take that very seriously. And if you've, bought anything from Rooster Teeth store in the past, that we really care about that stuff. So we're taking that end of it very seriously as well.
And one of the big questions, last logistics question, Barbara, before we get some questions from you and from the audience, is the international shipping question. Because one of the things about setting perk levels on Indiegogo is there's no additional shipping. So you have to build that all into the perk levels. And for people who live internationally, we have different tiers of international shipping based on how much physical merchandise is part of your perk. In order for us to have that be a simpler process, we would have to double or triple the number of perks on the screen and made this thing completely unnavigable. Yeah. So what we asked is for when people are international to simply add that amount to their donation. Some people understandably didn't do that, either forgot to do it or didn't understand the way that was supposed to work. We will contact you via a mass email, and we'll work out the way to handle the international shipping before we ship the physical goods. But luckily, we have some time to work all that out. So appreciate your patience.
Yes.
Also, you can always check the frequently asked questions. We have a link to that through the updates on the Indiegogo page, and that's a link to a page on the roosterteeth.com site.
Yep.
And we'll be updating that on the fly. Yes. All right. Sure you have lots of questions. Barbara, hit us.
All right. First question from Aaron Porter. After supporting financially and sharing the link, what are ways we can continue to support Lazer Team throughout the process?
Well, sharing the link is a big one. Like we said, if you want to share your impressions of what you saw here today, that would be great, letting people know. A lot of the crowdfunding campaigns have like a U shape to them, where there's a lot of interest at the beginning, a big lull. They all last about 30 days.
Yeah.
And so we recognized we weren't going to cure that problem of the U, so we kind of try to have more of a W, where we have a spike in the middle where we're doing this. On Saturday, we're going to be doing a live stream.
Yep, 12-hour live stream.
10 a.m. to 10 p.m. That'll look more like some of the other live streams we've done. It won't be focused on concept art and plots of movies. It'll be a little bit more Rooster Teeth antics. Although we will probably show some of the stuff we showed here today for the general public. That's probably when we'll do it. So if you can invite people to come enjoy that with you, that would be great.
Cool. All right, this next question is from Dutch Face.
Hey, Dutch Face.
Great name. Will there be any type of cinema release, international or otherwise, or is the plan solely Blu-ray/DVD?
Matt, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, I mean, that goes back to what Bernie said about getting a lot of interest from parties that could help make that a reality. Since this Indiegogo campaign has really blown up, we have been fielding calls and emails from a number of interested parties about that, and we're actively pursuing it. Of course, we can't promise anything. We got to make the movie first, but we would love that. We would love that. So we're aiming for that, and if not, in terms of business logistics, we want the movie to be worthy of being on a big screen.
Well said.
Yep.
Next question from Patrick. Not this Patrick or that Patrick. What inspiration are you drawing from for the plot of the story?
Wow, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
I think the thing we look at most or we talk about is Ghostbusters is a big influence.
Yeah.
We just like the way that I've always liked the idea of ordinary people in extraordinary situations. And by ordinary, I mean idiots.
Yeah.
Idiots in extraordinary situations. I mean, that's the basis for, Red versus Blue, and shows that we make like that. It's just identifiable, funny characters that are in situations where they have no hope of success, and they give it their best shot anyway.
Well, a lot of our shorthand when we talk about our heroes or our protagonists in whatever we're making, we go to, what are the four dummies doing in this part? You know what I mean? And that's could be Red versus Blue or Lazer Team or any short. Basically we're talking about ourselves. But Bernie and I are, I would say, the Star Wars generation.
Absolutely.
And then we're also kind of the Ivan Reitman, John Landis school of comedy generation, and I think you've seen that in our the comedy side of stuff in terms of live action work in our shorts, and then of course with Red versus Blue, the comedy and the timing of that. I mean, one of the first comments we got about Red versus Blue was stripes in space.
Stripes in space,
you know, and I think that says a lot about our cinematic upbringing and what our what our influences are. So
that was actually in a negative review, like the only negative review we ever got of Red versus Blue, and we loved that.
We loved that
criticism so much. We took it as a compliment and put it on DVD covers.
What better compliment can you get than great Harold Ramis movie like that?
But one thing we should be clear about is that when we're going through the logos, and that's a big part of the process where we are now, is a lot of pre-production, art direction. Someone asked, "Where's the script?" We're in the middle of the second draft of the script, going into the third draft. So that's far along. And when I say first draft, I mean we've been working on this for a long time. Right. We've been building concept art around some of the major hero prop pieces for a long time as well. One thing we want to be clear about is that this is not a parody of other sci-fi films in any way. Even though it spans 4 decades with an event that takes place in the late 70s, which is near and dear to our hearts, from sci-fi that came out at that time, like Alien and Star Wars, like you mentioned, even the Buck Rogers television series and the original Battlestar Galactica. There's some influences in there. It is not intended in any way to be a parody, and we want to be really clear about that. And so sometimes we have logos when we have influences from different things. We're drawing from all sorts of different things, like 70s, like white sci-fi, like the white clean look, and even crop circles. And I don't want to get too far into it, but also, as we do that, it's not meant to be a parody.
Yeah, and it's hard with concept art too at this stage, and you don't have enough to get a really fully formed picture. I don't think you'll feel that until probably until you see the trailer. But we do love all those references. They're just references. They're not parody elements, if that makes sense. And some of the concept art we showed today is a little bit more comic booky, and we're not going for a comic booky movie either. It's
we just wanted to show some of that to portray that it's humorous. That we're not doing a straight up sci-fi movie or things like that. Going back to the Ghostbusters analogy, Ghostbusters is not a parody of horror films. That's not, you would not describe it to somebody.
They didn't say Amityville Horror did well at the box office, so make a comedy version of that.
that'll play really well.
That's not what we're doing either.
All right, so Barbara, we'll take some more questions from you all, and then we're already at 23 minutes. Matt was like, we can't go 20 minutes, we'll do 15, and here we are at 23 already.
Well, you brought up the trailer. Someone actually asked, Savannah Sloan says, when will there be a trailer for Lazer Team?
That'll come closer. We could do a teaser, I think, a little in the next few months, I would say, but more likely a trailer that you're expecting would be closer to the end of production.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, and actually is, we draw more interest from other investment and distribution as well. Some of those things, and we'll be very careful about those deals that we structure, but some of those will come with commitments as to, putting out trailers and things like that as well. So,
Sean Reynolds asks, any chance we'll see more on Lazer Team at RTX?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. There will be.
We can't say exactly what.
I mean, the campaign for Indiegogo ends Sunday at 2 o'clock of RTX. And so Lazer Team will have a presence at RTX. Maybe not on any more of a content level than what you've seen here today, but there will be definitely people talking about it, and it'll be a focus at RTX for sure. Awesome.
Benjamin Storm, why is laser spelled wrong?
Lasers being spelled wrong is actually part of the story. That's the correct.
Laser is spelled right in this context.
It is the correct spelling if you're an idiot. That's the way an idiot would spell laser. Has nothing to do with anybody's middle name. That's life imitating art. In a way.
Okay, Thomas Keene, hope I'm pronouncing that right. I know it's early to ask, but got any ideas for DVD or Blu-ray extras?
Oh yeah, well I mean, we talked about one the other day that was really funny. I don't even know if I should give it away, but people ask us like, what are you going to do with the money from the Kickstarter or the Indiegogo, and how is that going to contribute to the movie? And Bernie talked about some of the connections we've made, and people want to know like very specific things, and a lot of it's hard to describe because it's qualitative. Like, we can make these scenes better, and we were joking about, well, we didn't have a movie, we didn't have any money to make an action scene that we wanted to make. So instead of showing a big action scene with like lots of explosions and cool stuff, we would just cut to the main characters on the side somewhere, and they'd be pointing and going, wow, look at those bombs exploding. And then we thought, well, that's a good DVD extra right there. Is the no money version of the movie. So maybe we'll
Gus
do that.
humming the orchestral theme and all that. So, which is our next stretch goal, by the way.
The orchestral theme. Yeah, I'm excited about that.
And yes, Strangerhood Season 2 is a stretch goal. And
God.
Matt's gonna pass out.
Thanks, everybody.
That I
Thanks
said
for
that.
supporting.
It's far enough away, Matt, that you won't have to worry about it. All right, any more questions?
We'll do this one for the last question. What are
Right.
you most looking forward to for Lazer Team?
This is something that Matt and I have been trying to get going for a long period of time. And it wasn't like that we weren't able to do it. It's just that we had other opportunities in the natural organic growth of Rooster Teeth where the next logical step was always like, hey, we'll do this and then we'll make a feature. Oh, this other opportunity came up. We'll do that and then we'll make a feature. And it's Matt and I met literally to make a feature. I mean, that's the first project we ever worked on. Yeah. Matt and I made a 16 millimeter film back in college.
That should be an extra.
For you can look up what film is on Wikipedia. I'm sure they have. They can tell you what it is now that it's gone. But yeah, Matt and I have always wanted to get back to this. And I mean, we had a conversation just this morning. We were sitting in my office. I have an office now, by the way. We were sitting in my office, and we were just, both of us were so unbelievably happy about where production is right now at Rooster Teeth and what we're doing at Stage 5 and what it's meant to this company, what this campaign means to the future of this company. It's amazing to be at this point. Yeah.
And it's given everybody here so much just enthusiasm and excitement. And, you know, people are, when we were on the set of day 5, it was really long days. It was like 16-hour days every single day. And we were in the sun. It was like 95 degrees last week. Kara got a heat rash.
Yeah. Sure.
I mean, it was terrible. And everybody got bit up by mosquitoes and everything. It was really brutal. But one thing that kept everybody really motivated and going was we were checking the Indiegogo page like between takes and just see the number ticking up. And I can't tell you like how just like energizing that was for everybody on set. It's like, oh man, we're beat down. It's been 15 hours. We got like another, couple hours to go. And it's like, oh look, we just crossed 1 million.
Well, it's one thing.
It's great.
You work on a production, you think you have that idea that it'll lead to bigger things.
Yeah.
But then you actually see evidence of that while you're working
literally happening.
on the current project.
Yeah. So thank you, everybody. It's just not just the funds in terms of making the movie and what that's going to mean qualitatively to the movie, but just what it means to everybody here morale-wise. It's awesome.
Yeah. It's really tremendous. Okay, well, Barb, thanks for getting those questions from the audience. Matt, thanks.
I got to go to a location meeting for Lazer Team right now.
He does. He's literally got to step off.
I literally have to go. So thank you, everybody.
I just want to say thank you for tuning in. Thank you once again for all your support to the campaign. If you're a sponsor of Roosterteeth.com, thank you for being a sponsor of Roosterteeth. It keeps us going, and we appreciate it. It keeps us going in a very much like pay the rent and keep the lights on kind of a way, like a real constructive, qualitative way. But I want to say that if you want to share your experience with this live stream, please do so. If you want to give your impressions and tell people what you saw, we encourage you to do that. I mean, that's part of the benefit of being a sponsor or being an early backer in this case is that, you can go out there and share this information with everybody. You have exclusive information that no one else does, and we encourage you to share it. Just please keep the screenshots and the recordings for us to do that because we'll be doing that in the future. Another thing that's coming up is that we're going to be introducing a new perk, a challenge coin, which, Patrick, you want to get a little closer? I can show you this. This is a cool thing. This was part of the tabletop one as well. This is a standalone perk we're going to add, which is basically a commemorative challenge coin. If you have seen these from the U.S. military, the one I have, this is actually my lucky charm. So this is near and dear to my heart. This is an Iron Man 2 one that was given to me by the director of Iron Man 2, Jon Favreau. So I've kept it this entire time. If you can hear that, it's pretty solid. It's a cool commemorative coin, so we're going to have a standalone perk for people who have already donated to the campaign if they just want to add this on, and then we'll have one as part of a package as well. Also, I want to remind you that this Saturday at 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., we're going to be doing a full 12-hour live stream. That should be a lot of fun. We're going to have people from every different production at Rooster Teeth taking part in it. It'll be a part of a promotion to keep the campaign going.
Yep.
All right, well, thank you for tuning in. And once again, I know we've said it 1,000 times. We'll say it 1,000 more. Thank you so much for your support, and thank you for making Lazer Team a reality. It means the world to us.